Hello and welcome to the show. This is Everything Under the Sun. My name is Ty. Hope all of you are doing well, treating yourselves well, and doing the best that you can to enjoy your life as much as possible. I want to just speak about something today that I feel is very important. It's something that, a lesson that I feel, I call them lessons as it's information that comes through that feels like clarity, that feels like it's a same topic that's kind of explored in a new way that helps to define it more, that helps to utilize it more, because all this information, it's worthless unless we put it into practice. The motion towards the life that we want to live, it's putting into practice these things that help us to feel better in life, help us to notice the things that are keeping us away from our wellness, keeping us further away from the things that we wish to explore and experience in this life. And one of the lessons that came to me not too long ago, and I explored it within all of my past, all of my experiences of life, and it came to be true. And the truth is that, truth is relative, but this is the truth that came to me. This is the truth that I believe, is that the things that we feel, our feelings, are a translation of our thoughts, of our beliefs. It's not a translation of anything else. Like, we have many things that translate the vibration of various things. Our senses translate the vibrations of all the things that are in this physical world. And our emotions translate the things that are happening within. The thoughts, the beliefs, the things that we hold on to that come together to be our experience. Our feelings are telling us how we feel about a situation, what we believe about a situation. And it's all about what we believe. It's all about our own thoughts. It's not about what's happening outside of us. So there can be a situation like war or poverty or someone calling you a bad name or a relationship that just ended. All of these things will seem like this situation has caused me to feel this way. But that's not true. It's our beliefs and our thoughts, our judgments of the situation that are causing the feeling that we're feeling. There are many times that we may look at a situation and say, oh, I feel so sorry for that person. This is looking on the outside. This is looking from the perspective that you're seeing it at. And you can say, oh, I feel so bad for that person in whatever situation that they're going through. And from your perspective, you're feeling that feeling of not wellness, of sympathy, of empathy for that person. But that person, in their own perspective, maybe they're just living their own life. Maybe they're just enjoying life in the way that they want to enjoy it. Or maybe they're just in a situation where maybe they're not even recognizing feeling sorry for themselves. Maybe they're just feeling something else. But the point is, it's coming from your own perspective. It's coming from your own thoughts. It's coming from your own beliefs. And those are the things that generate the feelings that we have. And this is something that's really important when we think about any experience that we have in life. The motion towards our happiness, if we are feeling right now something that does not feel good, then we recognize that our thoughts and our beliefs are to blame for that feeling. And it's not something, I say blame, but it's not something that we actually need to blame ourselves for. It's just to notice it. To notice it and to realize that it's not the situation. It's not that person that just yelled at me. It's not the fact that my boss just fired me. It's about all the other things that are happening within me that I believe. I believe that now I got fired from this job, that maybe I feel like, oh, this person thinks I'm not good enough. This person doesn't value me. This person doesn't, see me for what I'm worth. I don't know how I'm going to feed my family. I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. I don't know how I'm going to do these different things. These are all beliefs. And you may feel as though they're logical to believe, but it doesn't matter how much logic is brought to a situation. If it doesn't feel good, then it's not logical for you to hold on to that. It doesn't make sense. And as we think about the wellness that we wish to experience in this life, we can really look at those thoughts and those beliefs a little more critically and think, maybe I want to shift the way I'm looking at this perspective. Maybe getting fired from this job, it may seem to cause some kind of financial strain if I choose to go down that route. But you know what? Maybe I'm going to look at this as an opportunity to move towards something that feels better, to really apply for that job that I've been really wanting to apply for, that, I was just too comfortable with the job that I had to apply for it. And now that that job has removed itself from my life, I can move towards something else. Maybe I've been spending so much time at work that I haven't had time to spend with my family, with my loved ones. Maybe I'm going to take a weekend and actually go see them. And we never know what comes out of the experience, but what we do know for sure is that we feel a little lighter, we feel a little bit better. And that is just telling us that we've changed our beliefs. We've changed our thoughts about the topic that we are looking at. We are no longer judging it for what it seems to bring or how it seems to impact our lives. We are choosing how we are going to be impacted by it. We choose how we're going to move about and take the next step. And when we realize that our feelings are translating the thoughts and the beliefs that we hold within ourselves, then our life can transform as we utilize that, as we put it into work, as we look at each and every situation as we experience in this life and say, is this something that I hold a belief that doesn't feel good? Do I hold a thought about this person, this situation, this experience that seems to bring me to a place that does not feel like it resonates with me? And then we can shift those thoughts, we can shift those beliefs because we've identified them. And really, so many times, we can look at a situation and we can be clouded by all of the events of the physical situation that we've watched play out. But in reality, again, the feeling is just a translation of our own thoughts and beliefs. So you can look at that situation and begin to dismiss all the things that you saw as being the reason why you're feeling the way you're feeling. And now ask yourself, how am I judging what I saw? That person just murdered that other person. I'm seeing that as a thing that's not good. I feel like I'm in shock. I feel like there's something to process here. Acknowledge that. Acknowledge that needs to be processed. I feel like it was taking away something from this earth and that doesn't feel good. Feel the things that you wish to feel. Feel the things that are coming up for you, but when the time is right for you, because some of these things can be traumatic. When the time is right for you, start shifting those thoughts. Start reconstructing the way that memory went for you. Many times in trauma therapy, that is exactly what happens. As we find ourselves in a comfortable setting, as we find ourselves being able to feel okay exploring those thoughts and those feelings, as we find ourselves around the people and the situations that make us feel comfortable exploring that and feeling safe doing that, when we start to explore that more and more and we feel comfortable speaking about it, there is a time within that process that it's going back and asking ourselves, how can we look at this differently? How can we come to peace and resolution with what has happened? And that is restructuring those thoughts and those beliefs, because when it's in that trauma state, you don't know what to do with it. It's just feelings that are coming up and thoughts and ideas and all these different things that are happening, and it feels very confusing. So allow yourself with feelings that feel like that, allow yourself to find a space that feels comfortable for you to explore them. Maybe speak to someone if that helps. But allow yourself to explore what that feeling is, explore what that memory is and how it's related to those feelings, and then start to restructure those thoughts and those beliefs so that it's something that no longer impacts you the way that it does. We can control how we move in this life as long as we know that we're controlling the thoughts and beliefs that we have as we move through this life. If we feel like we have no control over the thoughts and the things that are going on within ourselves, then we will have no control in this life. Because our control isn't about controlling other people, controlling other situations, controlling things outside of us. It's about controlling how we write our own narrative, how we're telling the story within our own minds. And just because you tell the story with a little bit more light, it doesn't mean that you're not acknowledging the situation itself. We can acknowledge this life and all the things that seem flawed about it, but it doesn't mean that we have to take all of what we see and bring it internally. We can hold a light within ourselves. We can hold joy within ourselves and happiness and peace, prosperity. We can hold these things while still seeing the world and all of the things that seem to be in it. There is beauty in the diversity of this life, and as we look in our own past, we can see that sometimes the pain, the war that we waged within our own selves, sometimes that was something that was necessary in the process of choosing peace. We realized that the war was not something that we wanted. The anger, the hostility, the pain, the suffering was something that, it seemed like it was never ending. It seemed like something that we would never wish upon anyone, but as we look at our past, as we look at our history and where we've come from within our own self, within this own life, we realize that those situations has helped us to move towards something more. We couldn't even know what joy is or love is or happiness or peace if there wasn't the opposite, because it would just be life. If we never had the experience of that other complete polar opposite, then we couldn't know, we couldn't feel the motion towards joy. And what an incredible gift that is. Our feelings, I've said this from the beginning of this podcast, our feelings are a great guidepost for how we are moving in this life. And if we feel something that does not feel in resonance with us, if it doesn't feel good for you, then allow yourself to look within. How am I judging this? How am I looking at this? What am I thinking about this situation? And realize, recognize, notice the theme of the thoughts and beliefs and how they're associated with the feelings. You can shift those themes around. You can make them themes of joy and happiness, of growth and strengthening experiences, instead of ones being of hardship and loss and suffering. It just takes restructuring it, and the feeling will change. Your life will change. You may not change what has happened, but in the right now experience, you won't regret what has happened. You won't look back in dismay about what has happened. And that is the difference. That is how we bring joy into our right now moment. That's how we let go of the baggage of the past. We just restructure it. We think about it differently. And then we feel differently in our lives. And that is an incredible, incredible gift that we all have. So that's all I really had for this episode. Something that I feel is very profound, very important. I was in the middle of getting ready for my day, and I had to stop just so I could record this, because I've realized more and more that there are many times that we feel inspiration for many things in our lives. Sometimes just inspiration to make a phone call a friend, like message someone, or just go for a walk or do whatever. Like sometimes these joyful inspirations that feel really good, they come about, and moving towards those more and more, telling ourselves that it's okay to move towards this, and it's okay to drop everything to move towards something that feels really good for me. You're telling yourself that you are on your side, that you are moving towards your own wellness. And that's something so incredible. That's something so empowering. And the more we do that, the more we allow ourselves that in our lives, in the everyday motions that we have in our lives, moving towards our joy and our passion and our happiness. So yeah, I just wanted to come here and speak on that because it was something that was a wave of inspiration and it felt really good. So here I am. So yeah, if you have any thoughts or ideas or anything that I'd like to share, you can send that to everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com. You can join in the social media groups: Instagram, everything.sunpodcast, Twitter, @everysunpodcast, the Facebook group, @everysunpodcast, and the YouTube page, @everysunpodcast. And that is all I have for you. I love you all so much, and I will talk to you soon.